The objective of this lesson is to create a drawing from a given ratio that compare two different sized items or pictures. The focus of this lesson is to show students additional real-world examples of ratios. They will be creating scale models. A scale model, or to scale something, means to make a copy of an item or picture that is smaller or larger than the actual size. The copy maintains the same proportions as the original. Let's look at a set of images. Can 1 and Can 4 are the same proportions. If Can 1 was the original, then Can 4 is a larger scale model. If Can 4 was the original, Can 1 is a smaller scale model. Either way, they are proportional. If Can 1 was the original, Can 2 does not have the same proportion because the width increased, but the height did not. In Can 3, the width stayed the same and only the height increased. In order to be proportional, both the height and width need to be increased. There are many real-world instances where things have been enlarged or shrunk and still maintain correct proportions. One example is a house plan, which are often referred to as a blueprint. A commonly used scale is 1/4 to 12, which means that 1/4 inch on paper is equal to 12 inches or 1 foot in the actual house. When examining ratios of models to the original item, like in this table, the first number in the ratio is the scaled model, and the second number in the ratio is the original. If there are no units listed, it is assumed that the model and the real-life item were measured in the same units. Let's use this image of a chameleon to create a scaled drawing. Each square measures 1 inch by 1 inch. The original picture measures 6 inches high by 6 inches wide. What size paper is needed for a 2:1 drawing? This ratio means that the scale model will be 2 inches for every 1 inch of the original, or it will be 2 times as big. If the original is 6 inches high and 6 inches wide, the scale will be 12 inches high and 12 inches wide. In order to scale the image to a 2:1 ratio, every 1 inch by 1 inch square will now take up 2 by 2 inch squares. What size paper is needed of a 1/2 to 1 drawing? This ratio means that the scale model will be 1/2 inch for every 1 inch of the original, or it will be 1/2 as big. If the original is 6 inches high and 6 inches wide, the scale will be half of that, or 3 inches high and 3 inches wide. In order to scale the image to a 1/2 to 1 ratio, every 1 inch by 1 inch square will now take up only 1/2 by 1/2 of a square. You can give your student opportunities to try this by taking a copy of a simple picture from a magazine or book and draw 1 inch grids over the picture. Scale the picture up or down and redraw the picture. Check to make sure the proportions look correct. The objective for this lesson was to create a drawing from a given ratio that compared two different sized items or pictures. We met this objective by creating a scaled model of an original image using grid paper. We drew an enlarged image and a smaller image proportionate to the original.